The grocery store receipt in your hand might contain a death sentence, and you don't even know it. Right now, millions of men over 60 are unknowingly feeding their bodies the exact foods that create the perfect environment for prostate cancer to thrive. I'm Dr. Eva Hart, and for the past 14 years, I've dedicated my practice to men's health after 60. I've seen too many good men, fathers, grandfathers, pillars of their communities, receive diagnoses that could have been prevented if they had simply known what I'm about to share with you today. Here's what breaks my heart. Every week I sit across from men who tell me, "Doc, I ate healthy my whole life. How did this happen?" The truth is, what we've been told is healthy has been slowly poisoning our prostates for decades. The medical establishment has been silent about this because it challenges everything we thought we knew about nutrition. This isn't your fault. You've been following the dietary advice that was supposed to protect you. But today that changes. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal 5 seemingly innocent foods that are quietly fueling prostate inflammation and creating the cellular chaos that leads to cancer. These aren't obvious villains like processed meat or sugar. These are foods sitting in your kitchen right now, foods you probably ate this week. But here's the hope. Your prostate has an incredible ability to heal itself when you remove these silent threats. I've watched men in their 70s reverse years of damage simply by eliminating these foods and replacing them with nature's most powerful prostate protectors. Stay with me until the end because the 5th food on this list will shock you. It's something 90% of men over 60 consume daily, believing it's keeping them healthy when it's actually accelerating cellular damage in ways that would horrify you if you could see it happening. If this resonates with you, I need you to type "protect" in the comments. Your prostate's future depends on what you learn in the next few minutes, and I want to know you're taking this seriously. But first, let me tell you about the food that's probably in your refrigerator right now, masquerading as a health hero while quietly destroying your prostate from the inside out. First product, soy and soy-based products. For decades, we've been told that soy is the perfect protein for aging men. Soy milk, tofu, veggie burgers loaded with soy protein. They're marketed as heart-healthy alternatives that will keep you strong and vital. But here's what the food industry doesn't want you to know. Soy contains compounds called phytoestrogens that mimic estrogen in your body. Let me explain this in simple terms. Your prostate is exquisitely sensitive to hormonal balance. When you consume soy regularly, these plant estrogens bind to receptors in your prostate tissue, creating a cascade of cellular confusion. Your prostate starts receiving mixed signals, inflammation increases, and the delicate environment that keeps cells healthy begins to break down. I've watched countless men unknowingly sabotage their prostate health by switching to soy-based diets in their 60s, thinking they're making the healthiest choice possible. They drink soy lattes, snack on edamame, and replace their morning eggs with soy protein smoothies. Within months, their PSA levels start creeping up, and they can't understand why. The research is clear but buried beneath marketing dollars. Men who consume high amounts of soy show increased markers of prostate inflammation and cellular damage. Your prostate doesn't need plant estrogens competing with your natural testosterone. It needs clean, simple nutrition that supports its natural protective mechanisms. Here's what you can do instead. Replace soy milk with almond or oat milk, swap tofu for wild-caught fish or grass-fed beef, and read labels carefully. Soy hides in everything from bread to protein bars. Your prostate will thank you by reducing inflammation and returning to its natural protective state. This is about more than just avoiding one ingredient. It's about understanding that your prostate has been under siege from foods you trusted. But when you remove these threats, something remarkable happens. Inflammation drops, cellular repair accelerates, and your body remembers how to protect itself. The next food might surprise you even more because it's something doctors actually recommend for heart health, not knowing it's creating a time bomb in your prostate. Second product, processed tomatoes and tomato sauces. Here's something that will shock you. That heart-healthy tomato sauce your doctor told you to eat more of might be one of the most dangerous things you can put in your body if you're over 60. I've noticed something disturbing in my years of practice. Men come to me proudly explaining how they've increased their lycopene intake with pasta sauces, pizza, and processed tomato products, following advice they read about lycopene preventing prostate cancer. But their prostate health continues to deteriorate, and they can't understand why. Problem isn't tomatoes themselves, it's what happens when tomatoes are processed and packaged. When tomatoes are heated, canned, and turned into sauces, something sinister occurs. Protective compounds break down while acid levels skyrocket. This acidic environment, when combined with the aluminum and chemicals from processing, creates a perfect storm of inflammation in your prostate. But here's the real kicker. Most commercial tomato products contain hidden sugars and preservatives that feed inflammatory pathways throughout your body. Your prostate, already struggling with age-related changes, becomes overwhelmed trying to process these chemical cocktails. The very food you thought was protecting you becomes a source of oxidative stress. I've seen men eliminate all processed tomato products for just 30 days and watch their prostate inflammation markers drop significantly. Their energy returns, their urinary symptoms improve, and they feel like themselves again. Instead of reaching for that jar of marinara sauce, try fresh tomatoes in moderation, or better yet, focus on truly protective foods like cruciferous vegetables and wild-caught salmon. Your prostate craves simple, clean nutrition, not the chemical complexity of processed foods, even ones marketed as healthy. Transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. When you stop flooding your system with inflammatory processed foods, your prostate begins to heal. Constant irritation subsides, and your body's natural defense mechanisms can finally do their job. If you're currently consuming tomato sauce, ketchup, or other processed tomato products daily, I understand this might feel overwhelming. But remember, every positive choice you make today is an investment in your tomorrow. Your prostate has been waiting for you to remove these hidden threats. What I'm about to share next will challenge everything you believe about breakfast. The morning ritual that 80% of men over 60 follow religiously might be the single most damaging thing you do to your prostate every day. Third product, dairy products. Most doctors won't tell you this because it goes against decades of dietary guidelines, but the glass of milk you drink thinking it's strengthening your bones might be systematically destroying your prostate. I've spent years studying the connection between dairy consumption and prostate health, and what I've discovered would make you reconsider every piece of cheese, every splash of cream in your coffee, every bowl of ice cream you've consumed without a second thought. Here's the science they don't want you to know. Modern dairy products contain growth hormones, both naturally occurring and artificially added, that directly stimulate prostate cell growth. Your prostate doesn't distinguish between natural growth signals and the hormone cocktail present in today's dairy. It simply responds by growing, often in ways that create problems. But the hormones are just the beginning. Dairy creates an inflammatory cascade in men over 60 that's particularly devastating to prostate tissue. Proteins in milk trigger immune responses that cause chronic, low-grade inflammation throughout your body, with your prostate bearing much of the burden. I remember countless conversations with men who eliminated dairy and watched their nighttime bathroom trips decrease by half within weeks. They stopped waking up 3 times a night, stopped experiencing that burning sensation, stopped feeling like their bodies were betraying them. The relief in their voices when they called to share these improvements still motivates my work today. Calcium myth is perhaps the cruelest deception of all. We've been convinced that dairy is essential for bone health, when in fact the countries with the highest dairy consumption often have the highest rates of both osteoporosis and prostate cancer. Your body needs calcium, but it doesn't need the inflammatory package that comes with modern dairy products. Here's what happens when you eliminate dairy. Within 2 to 3 weeks, systemic inflammation begins to decrease. Your prostate tissue starts to heal from years of chronic irritation. Sleep improves. Energy returns. The fog of chronic inflammation lifts, and you start feeling like the man you used to be. Place dairy milk with unsweetened almond or coconut milk. Choose nutritional yeast instead of cheese for that savory flavor. Get your calcium from leafy greens, almonds, and sardines, sources that nourish rather than inflame. This is about reclaiming control over your body's inflammatory response. Every day you continue consuming dairy is another day your prostate struggles against unnecessary irritation. But every day you choose alternatives is a day your prostate can focus on healing and protection instead of damage control. If you're thinking this sounds too simple to be true, I understand your skepticism. But sometimes the most powerful healing comes from the simplest changes. Your prostate has been fighting an uphill battle against inflammation. It's time to remove the obstacles and let it win. The fourth food on my list is hiding in plain sight, and when I tell you what it is, you'll understand why prostate problems have become an epidemic among men who think they're living healthy lifestyles. Fourth product, refined vegetable oils. Walk into any kitchen, and you'll find the silent assassin sitting innocently on the counter: vegetable oil. Canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil. We've been convinced these are healthier alternatives to saturated fats. But for your prostate, they might as well be poison. Here's what most men don't realize. These oils undergo extreme processing that strips away any nutritional value while creating inflammatory compounds that your body was never designed to handle. When heated, these oils oxidize, producing free radicals that attack your prostate cells relentlessly. I've noticed a disturbing pattern among my patients. The men who cook with vegetable oils daily, who eat restaurant food regularly, who consume processed foods loaded with these inflammatory oils, consistently show higher levels of prostate inflammation and faster progression of prostate enlargement. Your prostate tissue is particularly vulnerable to oxidative damage. These processed oils create a state of chronic inflammation that never allows your prostate to fully heal. It's like having a wound that never quite closes because you keep irritating it every day. The omega-6 fatty acids in these oils throw your body's inflammatory balance completely off track. While you need some omega-6 fats, the amounts in modern processed oils create an inflammatory storm that your prostate cannot withstand. Your cells become damaged, your natural defense mechanisms become overwhelmed, and cellular chaos ensues. But here's the hope. When you eliminate these inflammatory oils, your prostate's healing capacity is remarkable. I've seen men experience dramatic improvements in urinary flow, reduction in nighttime urgency, and decreased prostate inflammation markers within 6 to 8 weeks of making this single change. Place these inflammatory oils with extra virgin olive oil for low-heat cooking, avocado oil for higher temperatures, and coconut oil for baking. These natural fats actually support prostate health rather than destroying it. Your cells recognize and utilize these natural fats properly, supporting rather than hindering your prostate's protective functions. Every time you choose a natural fat over a processed oil, you're choosing cellular healing over cellular damage. Your prostate craves the stability and nourishment that comes from real, unprocessed fats, not the chemical chaos of industrially manufactured oils. This isn't just about avoiding inflammation, it's about giving your prostate the building blocks it needs to maintain strong, healthy cell membranes and optimal function. When you fuel your body with the right fats, everything works better: hormone production, cellular repair, and natural detoxification. Transformation happens faster than you might expect. Within weeks, men report feeling more energetic, sleeping better, and noticing improvements in prostate symptoms they thought were just part of getting older. And now for the food that will shock you most. Sitting in 90% of kitchens right now, praised by nutritionists and consumed by millions of health-conscious men daily, completely unaware that it's creating the perfect cellular environment for prostate cancer to develop. Fifth product: artificial sweeteners, aspartame, sucralose. The sugar substitute in your coffee, your diet soda, your sugar-free snacks. These artificial sweeteners that promise to save you from sugar's dangers are creating a far more sinister threat to your prostate than sugar ever could. Here's what the food industry desperately hopes you never discover. Artificial sweeteners disrupt your body's cellular communication systems in ways that directly compromise your prostate's ability to protect itself from cancerous changes. These synthetic chemicals interfere with your cell's natural detoxification processes, creating an environment where damaged cells can survive and multiply. I've observed something chilling in my practice. Men who consume diet sodas, sugar-free gum, and artificially sweetened foods daily show consistently higher rates of prostate irregularities and faster progression of prostate problems. Their bodies struggle to process these foreign chemicals, and the prostate, being one of the most metabolically active organs, bears the brunt of this toxic load. Aspartame, sucralose, and other artificial sweeteners don't just pass through your system harmlessly. They accumulate in tissues, disrupt hormone production, and create oxidative stress that damages DNA. Your prostate cells, constantly dividing and renewing themselves, become vulnerable to the genetic damage these chemicals can cause. But here's what's most disturbing. These sweeteners trick your body into craving more sweet flavors while simultaneously damaging the organs responsible for processing what you consume. It's a vicious cycle that keeps you dependent on the very substances that are harming you. The solution is simpler than you think. Eliminate all artificial sweeteners immediately. If you need sweetness, use small amounts of raw honey, pure maple syrup, or stevia in its natural form, not the processed versions loaded with other chemicals. Your taste buds will adapt within weeks. Men tell me they're amazed how much better real food tastes once they stop overwhelming their palate with artificial intensity. More importantly, their prostate inflammation markers improve dramatically when they eliminate these synthetic chemicals. This is about trusting your body's ability to heal when you stop poisoning it with substances it was never designed to process. Your prostate has spent decades trying to neutralize these chemicals while simultaneously trying to maintain its protective functions. When you remove this burden, it can focus entirely on keeping you healthy. Within 30 days of eliminating artificial sweeteners, you'll notice improvements not just in prostate symptoms, but in energy, sleep quality, and overall vitality. Your body will stop fighting a constant chemical battle and can redirect that energy toward healing and protection. If you're currently consuming diet products daily, start reading labels obsessively. These chemicals hide in everything from medications to healthy protein bars. Your prostate's future depends on your vigilance today. These 5 foods, soy products, processed tomatoes, dairy, refined oils, and artificial sweeteners, have been quietly undermining your prostate health for years. But understanding this gives you unprecedented power to protect yourself naturally. Your prostate doesn't need expensive treatments or risky procedures. It needs you to stop feeding it the very substances that create cellular chaos. When you eliminate these inflammatory foods, something remarkable happens. Your body remembers how to heal itself. I've watched 70-year-old men experience improvements they thought were impossible simply by changing what they put on their plates. Better sleep, improved energy, reduced inflammation. Your masculinity can be restored naturally when you give your body what it actually needs. But here's what most men don't realize. The healing doesn't stop at your prostate. When you eliminate these 5 inflammatory foods, your entire body begins to function at a level you probably haven't experienced in decades. Mental clarity sharpens. Joint pain decreases. Even your cardiovascular health improves dramatically. One man recently told me, "Dr. Hart, I feel like I've been living in a fog for the past 10 years and it just lifted." He eliminated these 5 foods for 60 days and not only saw his PSA levels normalize, but his wife commented that he seemed like the man she married again. That's the power of removing inflammatory burdens from your system. The transformation starts today, but it accelerates when you replace these 5 threats with prostate-protecting foods. Wild-caught fish rich in omega-3s, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and Brussels sprouts, pumpkin seeds loaded with zinc, green tea with its powerful antioxidants, and pomegranates that specifically target prostate health. Your prostate will begin healing immediately. Here's something I want you to remember. Every meal is either feeding disease or fighting it. There's no neutral ground when it comes to your prostate health. The foods you choose in the next 30 days will determine whether your prostate continues deteriorating or begins its remarkable journey back to optimal function. I've seen too many men wait until it's almost too late to make these changes. Don't be one of them. Your prostate is sending you signals right now, whether it's getting up at night, weak stream, or just that nagging worry in the back of your mind. Listen to those signals and act. Subscribe for more natural solutions that pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know about. In next week's video, I'll reveal the morning ritual that can reverse years of prostate damage in just 90 days. Something so simple yet so powerful that it should be taught to every man over 50. Share this with any man in your life who deserves to know the truth. Type freedom in the comments if you're ready to reclaim your prostate health naturally. Your future self will thank you for taking action today.